Welcome to another episode of Touchline Hotspur. We've got some lovely guests here with us today. We've got the usual guest. Teacher, how are you feeling, man? You good?
I'm feeling uplifted. I'm feeling pessimistic at the same time, so it's an awkward one. But, trying to stay positive, otherwise good.
Always is when you support Spurs, man. Oh, how are you feeling?
Like T is just saying how we all feel as Spurs fans from birth. But yeah, no, I'm all right, man. Obviously, COVID recovered, and it helps being a rugby fan in these times. To be honest, like certain Saturdays, I'm like, oh, what Spurs are playing? Mad thing. I'm watching rugby. Like, it keeps me distracted still. Yeah,
sometimes you be making the right decisions, avoiding Spurs. Sometimes I can't lie to you. Owen, man, how's the week been treating you? You good?
Yeah, man, feeling good. Just still waiting for this trim to happen so I don't look like an exiled KGB member, but otherwise feeling good.
Good. And we've got a special guest with us today, DJ Logan Sama.
Ow.
Hello.
Who actually isn't a Tottenham Hotspur fan.
Definitely.
We might change his mind by the end of the show, though. Hopefully. Fingers crossed.
No chance.
He's looking good in that colour scheme, I can't lie.
I'm an active Spurs hater and will be.
I'm not gonna lie, yeah, Logan. I can actually see the hatred like in your face. You're so disgusted to be on a template with Spurs colours. You're disgusted to have your name anywhere near hospital. I respect it. I actually respect it. Like there's no fraudulence here. I rate it.
It's generational hate. Handed down. So.
How many generations you guys been West Ham fans?
That I know of 4.
Jeez.
Wow.
We've just started the 5th. So yeah.
Sweet. Congratulations.
The unfortunate thing is my first nephew, my sister married a Spurs fan, so he's a Spurs fan. But I've got another nephew now, and I can save him. So we're good.
We're infiltrating.
Like Logan definitely gives him the dead Christmas presents when it rolls around.
I only buy in England kits. That's it. That's it.
Nice. So I mean, let's start with the bad, man, so we can go into the good. Like, it was a tale of I guess 3 goals the right way and 3 goals the wrong way this week. But let's start with 3 goals the wrong way. Man City. Owen, what did you think going into the Man City game? I think it was Tanganga was the surprise inclusion in the back 4.
Yeah, pleasantly surprised. I actually quite liked how we set up for that game. Like, I think Aurier's still injured, right? So with Doherty not doing great at the moment, it was good to see Tanganga come back. I've still got huge stocks in him. We had Sanchez and I think it was Dier playing centre back. Yeah. Ben Davis being Ben Davis. Højbjerg and Ndombele again. And then more interestingly, where we keep on rotating our kind of 3 attacking midfielders ahead of, or just behind Kane. We saw Lamela and Lucas come in who have looked like they were hitting a little bit of a pocket of form. They looked like they were interchanging quite well in some of their lesser games via Everton and West Brom. So I didn't hate that they started. It was very much like a workhorse lineup ahead of them trying to get Son and Kane into the game. I thought we actually started out all right. Like first 20 minutes, we had a few good openings on the counter attack. But Lamela had a bit of a dip, but there was a couple of opportunities where he could have played in Son quite quickly. Not so much through on goal, but could have got him into promising positions, and he just failed to release the ball quick enough. Kane came really close with that free kick, which would have put us in a really good position. It was a stone free kick, but hit the inside post. Unfortunately for us, it didn't go in. And then it all came full circle. Gundogan, who's been in ridiculous form recently, and I'm sure he'd be one of the danger men pointed out to us by Mourinho and say, Højbjerg, make sure you pick him up when he runs into the box. And he took it really, really literally, just ran straight into him, gave away a clumsy penalty, and from there, it was always going to go one way, and City just started outplaying us from there.
No, seriously, man. Before I get onto some of the more obvious mistakes, I just want to talk about Gundogan, the way he dealt with Sanchez.
Forget it.
Great pronunciation, by the way.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
But like seriously, man, like I haven't seen a player eat grass in a long time, man. It was
Yeah.
it was a sight to behold.
I ain't seen something like that since Messi put Boateng in a blender with Scotch bonnet. Bro. It was nasty. Like he just, I said it in the chat. Like obviously, Gundogan gave him like a little barge early on, but you have enough core strength and enough time to reset yourself. Do you know what I'm saying? It wasn't like he was trying to do the John Terry hero thing where he puts his head in the way when like he's already on the floor. It wasn't like that. Like Donny just fell over. Do you know what I'm saying? With no shame. Like it was very, very harrowing. And I only watched the highlights. Very, very harrowing to watch Sanchez defend. It always has been, if we're being honest, but I think that was the one where it's like, right, this has been a £42 million L. We just when it gets to summertime. Well, I'm sure we'll get onto squad building a lot later.
The long and short of that one is, just to cut you there, or Sanchez put shame on the family name with that one there. I'm not gonna lie, man. Nothing's gonna bring that one back. And the thing is, when you think of that defender's legacy at Spurs, that's going to be one of those marquee moments that stand out going forward. So I feel bad for him. I know I'm still waiting for the viral reaction though. Interestingly, I thought that was going to be memed all over the place, but I haven't seen it, so he might have got away with it. But yeah, man, for some reason it reminded me of when Anthony Joshua knocked out Dylan White. And I didn't struggling to get up, bro. It just reminded me of that. Just seeing his face, looking towards Lloris, nothing but disbelief and shock. Anyway. Shout
out Sai listening in and saying that Sanchez was auditioning for the You Got Served reboot with that slide. It was definitely sad to see, man. Like it's not ideal. Logan, dare I even ask what you think of Tottenham's back line at the moment?
Say no more.
Do you know what? If you were to ask me in the middle of the week without me having to give it any prior thought, I probably couldn't name a starting back four. Like, wow, I probably couldn't do it, to be honest.
Neither can Mourinho most weeks, to be honest, man.
I mean, to be fair though, like at least Bale got one back for you tonight and sent one of them Wolfsbergers to the shop pretty savagely as well before his goal. So kind of cancelled out, right? And
I mean, let's touch on Bale. Like, where do we stand on Bale at the moment? Like, I think he had a very good performance tonight. In fact, I wouldn't say very good. I would say I think he showed up tonight. He showed up tonight alongside Dele Alli, who was good to see get his cameo.
I think he made a big difference when he brought him on against City. Like, he looked like a creative outlet for you. I think you should get more time. Bale? Yeah, Bale.
Yeah.
I mean, I know you brought Dele on as well, right?
Yeah.
And who was the last? Was it Sissoko?
Sissoko.
Yeah. I thought Bale looked sharp. Like, admittedly, like the game was over and done with pretty quickly, but I thought Bale looked like a good creative outlet, and I would definitely like to see that combination of four playing together at least at some point, with Kane and Son. So
yeah, I think ideally, in an ideal world, that's definitely what I want to see. I think from my perspective, some of the smaller moments, like just some of the smaller things, like even in today's game, there was a point where I think there was a ball that went over the top and Bale was running in from behind and the goalkeeper came out and Bale just like completely pulled out of it, like he didn't want none of the physical confrontation. I feel like that says something about like where he's at with his game right now. So I agree with Logan, like he's definitely got that creative edge about him, but has he got the physical side? I'm not too sure, man. I think it might be eluding him right now.
Yeah, Do you know what it is with that? It's the wealth. Bale's been rich for a long time now. He doesn't need to rough around with some youths in the park. He doesn't need to do that anymore. He's too rich. For everything we know about Bale, he's got great techers, and when he wants to play, everyone knows he can turn it on. And we saw a glimpse of that today. But yeah, I agree with Logan though. I don't think he's been terrible for us. I think he's like a flower waiting to bloom, and the right ingredients around him, we'll start to see reminiscence of what we know Bale to be. But it's not clicked just yet.
Well, he's notoriously not a great trainer, right? Like he's not fantastic. He doesn't really show up in training, so he needs game time. But I guess that's kind of contrary to Mourinho's management style of just go out and play and I'll let you ease in. He doesn't really he's quite harsh with his changes and his team selections from what I've seen, like from his previous stints in management. So I don't know if he'll get that opportunity, but obviously after tonight's performance, he looked great, and I think against City he looked like a viable creative outlet for you. So maybe he will get more minutes.
Yeah, it will be interesting to see what Bale said. I mean, what Jose has said about Bale after the match today. Like earlier in midweek after the Man City match, he had a lot to say about Bale's fitness, saying if Bale thinks he was fit from training like it was, I think he said that was far removed from reality or something like that. I can't remember the exact.
It was a picture, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was a picture on Instagram. And I think he said something like good session or something, when the real situation was he was at home doing physio or whatever he was doing. And I think Mourinho was obviously asked about it, and his rebuttal was, yeah, it's far from reality or something to that extent, which is Mourinho all in one, really. Never really want to back away from the cheekiness. But also a bit of an awkward decision by Bale, actually, to actually post something when you know you're at home chilling. Like, what is this? Some kind of, do you know what I'm saying? Image thing.
Let's be honest, man. That's probably like a 16-year-old school kid just putting that up like on the internship or something. Like, I doubt he's got. I doubt he's thinking about that, man.
No, like normally, like without reading into the context too much, you'd be like, oh, like this is Jose throwing another player under the bus, and like I've always felt a bit funny about Jose being all, if you're 60%, I'd rather you were 60% and said you could play, and I might play you than 60% and not play. And it's like, well, just if man aren't fit, just man aren't fit. Do you know what I mean? But this time, I kind of have to back Jose. Like Bale was basically moving like a catfish on Instagram. Do you know what I mean? Like you don't need to lie in it. Like if you don't need to lie. We know what your hamstrings and quads are like. Like if you're doing, you know how certain man they put the what's that with the ice like boot, that massive boot that they got that goes up to the hip here with the
compression thing.
Yeah, the compression thing. I would rather he did that. So it's like, you know what, you're taking your recovery seriously. Now you want to lie. You want to be one of them influencers that took a picture in Dubai like 6 months ago and you're posting it now to make us think you're there. Come on, man. Like, so I don't usually back Jose in it, but I have to on this one.
And do you think, I guess another point of contention at the moment is Lloris's self-destruction before we sort of like move on. Do you guys think there's anything to it? So a lot of people think that Lloris has been making too many mistakes recently. Is it just sort of like that recency bias? Is he still Mr. Reliable? Can he be relied on? Or is it time to...
I think Hugo Lloris is probably one of the least of our problems, if I'm going to be really honest. I think before Project Restart, he had a couple calamitous moments in there. Even when France won the World Cup, like everyone forgets the goal Croatia scored, like was all Lloris's fault. He just decided to do it. He was moving like Karius in the box. But obviously after Restart, arguably our best player, he's been good like most of the season as well. And I don't want to say that, you know, you come to expect with Lloris, like he does have these moments where like he'll get some credit in the bank with some performances and the reflex shot stopping, and then he'll just have a bit of head loss like 2-3 games in a row. Like, you know, you would rather your keeper was a lot more consistent than that. But I'm taking him over 95% of the keepers in the Prem anyway. You know, hopefully we were in a bit of a shit run of form anyway without Lloris. Even if Lloris was on form, we probably would have still lost some of these games anyway. So I have faith he'll come back into form eventually. Do you know what I'm saying? Like we said, we played like Wolfsberger King tonight, and he pulled out a couple stops. So I'm not overly concerned about Hugo, to be fair.
I think if you look at like recent performances as well of like Alisson and De Gea, they've also had a couple of clangers. Alisson especially, right? So I think for me, like Lloris is always in contention for that top 3. Like he's fighting for that top 3 keepers in the league. I think Ederson is definitely like the guy. And then you're looking at De Gea, Alisson, and Lloris for those other 2 spots. Like, and he is, like you said, you're not looking to replace your keeper anytime soon. There's way more important areas in the squad that need looking at than that, I think.
Yeah, I think Lloris has got a lot of shouting to do at full time at that centre. Whichever centre back pairing he's got in front of him most games, to be honest, he's got a lot of shouting to do, man. So feel sorry for him, but the spotlight's on him at the moment, as well as with Højbjerg, who I think was much better today than he was against Man City. So hopefully that's something to look forward to going forward. It was a shame, to be honest, that we conceded the goal today. It was also a shame to see Højbjerg and Ndombele come on. I felt like it's the same pattern that we've seen recently, you know, with the kind of like sitting off at halftime kind of thing. And with one eye on West Ham, I'm thinking back to the last result, the 3-2. So I mean, we can't have that sort of thing again where we sit back.
Look at us. Look at this smug Donny in the middle.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think we've timed this appearance to perfection. Probably like the only time West Ham have been above Spurs at kickoff for like the past decade or something. But West Ham have come a long way, like a really, really long way. Whether it's you're talking of like different owners, relegation, different stadium. Like, how does it feel to be sort of in this position, like third? I'm sure you've got a game in hand on top of Spurs as well. 6 points ahead, like you're not in danger. So how does it feel at the moment?
You got a game in hand on us, I think.
Is it the other way around? I think you got 6 points, but we got a game in hand, innit?
Yeah. I mean, it's not even a long journey. Like last season, we got 39 points and scraped by surviving by the skins of our teeth.
Yeah.
And then this season, we're just outside the top four, sort of like trading places with Chelsea every other week. Looking down the table and seeing Spurs and Arsenal, battling it out for mid-table supremacy. It's great. I'm just taking it for what it is, which is complete nonsense. Like this season's like the end of last season. This season is just it's just nonsense because you're playing games every 2-3 weeks. Liverpool have come off the caffeine. It's Man City's time to put the graft in. Man United, like Ole was about to get sacked at the start of the season, and now they're pushing. I know they're like 10 points behind City or something, but they're pushing for that top spot as well. Nothing makes sense this season. Nothing makes sense. And the least of that is West Ham being anywhere near Champions League spots. So I am I've taken my hands off the wheel, and wherever I end up, whether that is going straight up the highway or if it's veering off into the hard shoulder, I'll, whatever happens is whatever happens. And I'm just trying to enjoy it when we play well, which we've been doing quite a fair bit recently.
Mm-hmm. It's very interesting. I think West Ham have had some great performances this season so far. You think back to like the last Spurs and West Ham game, which was it the first one when wasn't it Mourinho's debut?
Yeah, that was
And we've had some great moments against Spurs. We beat you at White Hart Lane. We were the first team to beat you at your new stadium as well, which was great. Obviously, Lanzini goal. We're not Spurs, so I don't think we're selling that Lanzini goal on DVD.
Oh my days!
It's very memorable for me. Lives on. It's nice to have some good memories against Spurs. Great.
All right. Now that the gloves are off, how does it feel to get relegated, mate?
Well, I've done it twice. I've done two stretches in the Championship, and I can tell you, turning up on the weekend to watch your team play Gillingham in a league match is not fun at all. I've been to 3 playoff finals, I think. Going to a playoff final and losing a playoff final is one of the most miserable experiences anyone can ever suffer, because you travel all the way there. Like, this is when it was in the Millennium Stadium in Cardiff as well. So I've gone all the way there. We're playing Palace. We've lost the playoff final, And like, not only did you lose the final, but you have to process the idea that you're going to be watching championship football again next year. It's horrible.
And then 4 hours on the way home.
Oh, bruv, it's a myth. It's a big myth. I hope Spurs get to enjoy it someday. I wish nothing but bad things.
Was it clear already? But seriously, what do you credit that transition from, though? Because when I think about West Ham going back 2 years ago, I always likened them to like a bullish team, very strong, move the ball quickly. Whereas when I watched them more recently, I feel like they're far more creative, far more sort of ticky-tacky, so to speak. What do you credit that transition to?
The only thing that I've really noticed, right, is the organization at the back. And it started when Moyes started playing 3 at the back with 2 fullbacks. So it's basically 5 at the back, but with transitioning fullbacks. And I can't remember the first game that he did that against. But we just looked mad solid. And since then, we've had really good defensive record. We played at the start of the season, looked terrible at the start of the season as well. Didn't start well at all. And got on a bad run. And we just looked like we couldn't defend. It's like the personnel we had were not good enough to play a back 4. Diop was looking out of form. Basically, Ogbonna on his own. Balbuena wasn't really delivering. And then we picked up Craig Dawson. And I'm not going to lie. We signed Craig Dawson on loan from Watford at the Championship. And I'm like, I'm on the internet. I'm cussing the board. Like, what are we doing picking these players up again? Like, there's no ambition. And I have to hold my hands up and say that Craig Dawson at the back has been incredible. The players that we've brought in have massively overperformed. I don't know if they'll keep it up. We've shifted out the players that underperformed. We had players like Anderson, who we've loaned out again. He had a good start to his career at West Ham, and then last season, really, really bad. Just couldn't find his feet. We've had a lot of players come in that just haven't done the job. Obviously, Sebastian Haller, we took a big bath on that and sold him to Ajax. And again, when that happened, we had the transfer window, January window. We shift our second striker out. Our main striker's got hamstrings that are made out of elastic bands. And the only striker that we've got in the squad other than him is Oladapo. So who's a youth, he's got no first team experience. We're running out with that. And then we pick up Lingard, who, is a gifted player, England international. I'm happy that he's doing well. But when we signed him again, it's like we need a striker and we're picking up another CAM, basically. And we've already got Lanzini, we've got Benrahma, we've got Bowen coming off the side, Rice pushing forward. That number 10 kind of position is at Fornals as well. He's looked decent this season. So it's not a player that was filling a need that we had. And again, it's like another transfer window when that was all the business we did, players shifting out, we've got no cover. But guys have just been overperforming. Lingard, Jay Lings has come in and been sensational, playing alongside Benrahma, making Benrahma like really up his game and look dangerous. Antonio has just been an absolute workhorse. Yeah. A great player. Dawson's looked like an international, for the last couple of weeks. He's looked like he's ready to play against any team in the world. Fantastic. Diop stepped up when Ogbonna got injured, looked good. And then the younger players coming through. Ben Johnson came through on the left. He's looked fantastic. Ryan Fredericks coming in and looking like a real right winger, plowing up and down.
Yeah, he's
serious. Along with obviously the 2 Czech boys that I've not mentioned yet. And they've been, what amazing signings they've been, for 22 million, I think, combined for those. So, yeah, I think it's just everyone's been overperforming. We look really organised at the back, which is great. That stability at the back allows us to play that kind of counter-attacking football that you're seeing us play. And we're retaining possession, which we were terrible at before. So bad at mates. We were playing games and having like mid 30% possession against teams because we just couldn't retain it. Now that we're doing that a lot more solid, some of those more creative players like your Fornals, your Benrahmas, Lingards now, Bowens, they're having the freedom to play a bit. So, yeah, it's been really solid stuff. I'd attribute it to Moyes getting people organised and giving them the confidence to play. And I think that 3 at the back with the 2 extra wing backs is working really well for us. I'm really pleased with it.
I think just off that, like, you know, I'm glad you mentioned Souček at the end, but there was just 2 main things I was going to pick up on. Like, any Spurs fan listening to this will just be thinking, oh, so that's what it's like when, like, your board addresses like your squad, and you know you're going to take a £40 million hit and actually try and sell them off, even if it's got to be cut price. And oh, you're not going to leave the like players who aren't good enough there to be like 7 years, hold tight Lamella and them man there. That's what it feels like. And then my other thing that even though I don't have a hatred for West Ham, just like you're ops in it, like it is what it is.
I feel like West Ham is not really on the radar for you, man, to have a hatred of, to be honest. You know,
but I think my main thing with Souček, besides, because I can't lie, I don't watch West Ham play those. I've heard like he's like a Czech Fellaini and stuff like that, but I know Souček is doing bits like. So I was going to ask you, besides him stopping these nonsense Mark Noble for England shouts, like how does man actually ball? Because I know he played centre mid, but he's racking points on FPL, and I get pissed off when I've left him as first sub. So
yeah,
what go on with this guy?
He's basically just playing alongside Rice. He's putting in a shift. I think Moyes said the comparisons with Fellaini are inaccurate. He's more of a Tim Cahill, I think he said.
Okay.
Which is interesting for him to say, because he is a DM rather than like an attacking, but he gets forward. So he'll pick the ball up and push on and drive, and he creates space really well, but he cleans up also. You know, he's one of those guys where you rarely see him make any mistakes, doesn't really give the ball away. He's always putting himself about. The thing I like about both those Czech boys is they up the energy of the team. You know, there was a big problem with West Ham of strolling around the park. And, Mark Noble, cool. He's been there for 50 years or however long he's been playing for West Ham. He was never the fastest player anyway, right? And for the last 4 years at least of his career, I've watched him basically play the whole game inside the centre circle and pass the ball sideways. And now that he's kind of made way for Souček, we've got a lot more of a dynamic look to the middle of the park, and a lot more ability to break forward, but then also get back and reform a defensive position with either Rice or Souček in front of a 3 with the fullbacks filling in. So if we do lose possession, we're just not getting the arse torn out of us immediately. We've got players that are going to come back in as well. And then, of course, set pieces, West Ham and set pieces, we've been doing great. Souček will pop up with a header at least once a game, might go in, might not, but his goal scoring record's been great as well. So, yeah, dangerous on set pieces also.
It's good that you touched on Rice as well, because I felt like he was getting quite a lot of criticism at the start of the season for not any particular reason. I wasn't really watching West Ham games like that, but I felt like he was getting criticised quite a lot, maybe more from neutral fans. And obviously just him coming in and developing that partnership with Souček, like when Dan Lawless from West Ham TV was on here, we were asking him who's the most overrated West Ham player, and I said Mark Noble, and he completely dismissed that. So it was good that you acknowledged that he has been on quite a slow decline, because there was that match where we played you in the Project Restart. I think Mark Noble he played as the most advanced midfielder, or more or less that as a 10, and he was just completely ineffective. And I think him coming out of the team makes you look far less limited.
I'd agree with that. And, I would never speak ill of Mark Noble. He's a tremendous servant of the club, and he's been there for so long and put in a shift, and he's a good player. But for me, I think he's a limited player. There's definitely a ceiling on what he can do. He's one of those players that you look at and he's like, he'll run for the team, he'll work for the team, but I don't often feel like he's going to create something amazing for the team. And he's got to that point in his career now where he might want to put the effort in for the team, but he just doesn't have the legs, and his legs will go real fast. And when your main thing is like you're the guy that puts in the effort, and you just haven't got the legs anymore,
Ineffective.
there's not really much left for you other than, I hope he transitions into coaching. I know he's doing his badges and stuff, and he'll be around the club for forever. But yeah, the Souček is just a straight upgrade, and it's showing in the way that the team's performing.
Definitely agree. I think it would be interesting if we sort of think about West Ham Spurs combined 11. I mean, Logan, I'd let you pick the formation because it's obvious we'd get the keeper. So,
What?
I said I'd let you pick the formation.
No, I heard what you said.
You know we get the keeper, mate.
I don't know about that. Fabianski's pretty reliable still, but he's not Lloris, so yeah. I hear you.
Should we go for 3 at the back or?
I think 3 at the back, low-key gives, only because if we say 3 at the back, it's going to be very hard to argue out of Souček and Rice to put one of them out. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I think 4-3-3 might be a wider shout, possibly.
Yeah, let's go with 4-3-3. It just feels a bit natural.
I think a 4-2-3-1 is a good look.
Okay.
Personally,
The FIFA formation.
Trust me.
FM.
We know who the one is.
Yeah.
Obviously. Yeah. I'm pretty sure who the 2 is because I'm not having Wolfsberger and Dembele in there.
Oh no!
Wait, what?
Really?
Hey, this is a Ndombele Stan podcast.
I think you can get Souček, Rice, and Ndombele in there, even in a 2-3-1. But we'll let Logan do his 11. We'll hold the slant. I got my, you know what I'm saying. I got my strap here ready just in case.
Yeah.
So who would you have at right back? Let's say we start with goalkeeper.
Soufal, man. I know you like Tanganga, but I think Soufal. He's in really good form as well. I have to take form into consideration.
Yeah, are we
international?
I think we got to do form still. We got to do form.
Yeah.
I'll give you Soufal over. It's Aurier though. I was gonna give you that name just in case you might want to rethink.
My bad.
No, you're good. All right, cool.
But still,
And your first centre back?
Oh, it's definitely not Sanchez. Dawson. I'm putting Craig Dawson in. Reliable Craig Dawson.
Yeah, I think Tobes is right saying Aurier has probably been better than Soufal over the whole season. But yeah, on form, Soufal in. Then Craig Dawson and second centre back.
Dyer probably. I don't know. Who do you want?
I'd chuck Dyer in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dyer's probably been the best of our bunch.
But we are mud, boy. Conceded right centre back. Dyer's the best of a bad bunch. Fuck.
I was ready to concede the other centre back position as well. I can't lie.
Really?
Like we don't really have much ammo.
Only because I think Ogbona's had a really good season. But yeah, I'm not trying to name 9 West Ham players.
Do you know what? Yeah. I'm
trying to give you some, so that when I try and take some, you know what I mean? Like, I don't mind not having Diop and Ogbonna in the side because I want Cresswell at left back because he's wicked.
You want him?
Are we not including Reguilon because he's injured?
That's the thing. No, if we don't include Reguilon, then to be honest, he gets in over Ben Davies, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So this is on form and fit, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
On form when fit.
All right, Reguilon.
Yeah.
Cresswell's a bit shaky going back, but his delivery of crosses is very, very good.
5-6 assists or something like that this season. Isn't it?
Very good, and set places as well, set pieces.
Got width, definitely.
We can skip the 2 because you know who I'm picking for that.
Depends who your team is. It depends who your team is. I've still got the strap, so
yeah. And I would say,
see, this is
in
where it
terms
gets
of players that I actually rate. Then the 3 is just going to be Son, Lingard, and Bale because I think Bale's sensational anyway, and I just like watching him play football. And then Harry Kane up front.
So you're putting Lingard in number 10 there, just to sort of
just to float around, put in the effort.
Wait, Lingard over Ndombele, though. I have to investigate this a bit more, man.
This is a bit booky.
What are we seeing? Is it because he wasn't playing the 90 minutes at the beginning of the season?
It's a West Ham fans team anyway. So if I had my way, there'd only be Kane, Son, and Lloris in there. If I'm honest, but you know,
I was gonna ask. Flipping, what did you have? Do you have Lingard on the? Do you have Lingard on the right? Yeah.
No, he's got Lingard.
We play Lingard on the left or in the middle.
So where are you putting Lingard in your team? 10
in the middle, yeah.
Who's
10.
on the right?
Bale coming in.
Bale coming in. Okay, because I've not watched a lot of West Ham, but I like that Jared Bowen.
He's good, but you know what? His decision making at the end is not up there yet.
Okay.
Too much bubbling champagne. Smart water, bro. Big brain water. Intelligence water. You get me? Yeah, Bowen's exciting, work rate, whatever. But he's a championship player still. He's got development to go. And I feel like his final decision making is either too slow or the wrong decision. So he'll either be a split second too slow and he'll get caught between not playing the ball that he should do or taking the shot, or he'll do an early decision and it's the wrong one. And he just hasn't got that decision-making sharpness that you see from a top player. But in terms of his positional play and his graft and his pace, he's really promising. He's an exciting player. And I hope that he continues to progress under Moyes.
Okay.
Nice. And then
he's not talking to Bale or Son, so
well, obviously Kane is inevitable. But let's discuss Antonio a little bit. Like I do like Antonio. I think he's a very good player. I think you guys missed him massively when he was injured. And like I don't know. I feel like he brings that, or he finishes your team. If you know what I mean, he gives you that thing up front.
I mean, he allows that team to scare people. I think like he's actually a frightening prospect.
Yeah, running at
on the pitch. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like he's a player that I think should be in an England squad for a major tournament, because if you threw him on for 15 minutes against a tired defense, it's terrifying. But he's not one of those guys that I think he should be like, you know, I'm not one of them nobs for England. He should be starting in the middle, give him the captain's armband. But I like options, and I feel like Antonio is a tremendous physical presence. He's really good at hold-up play, supplying people around him as well. He's not selfish in the slightest in any way. He's always bringing people into the play. And he's just scary. You see what he does to defenses. It's hard to deal with. Tires them out. Even if he doesn't create the chances himself, it's tiring dealing with Antonio for 90 minutes.
I've got to give him credit as well. I feel like he's one of those strikers. Like if you can give him one chance, he has a vast array of finishes where he can still put the ball away. Like he's a very good finisher. He can head. He's actually got a fairly decent left foot on him, and right foot. Obviously, he's.
Sorry, I've just seen the
fair bit of a bagsman. If Sanchez plays, it's going to be very, very, very long.
I think I'm inclined to agree with pretty much most of what you said, Logan, with the England thing. Like he's never going to be in most people, apart from like the proper Yadar Hammers fans that will say, Jared Bowen, you know what I'm saying? Like that man will say he's got to go, and you know I don't trust Southgate with the keys anyway. But you know, years and years ago, I remember when like I think it was Aaron Lennon's first England tournament, and I can't remember what team it was, but they got through to the next round. And so I think a couple of men were obviously playing with other men of international teams, and they were saying like, "Who is this? We don't know who this guy is. Like he's just lightning fast. We don't know. We've never watched this guy before." But they were shook of not that Aaron Lennon had like an amazing tournament, but he was effective when you threw him on, because fullbacks didn't know what to do. They've never seen this guy before. He's got wheels. You know what I'm saying? So again, like you know, realistically, Antonio's behind Tammy, Calvert-Lewin, Ings, etc. as another centre forward, or even like like an inside forward option coming off the right. But I think certain centre backs, even high quality ones, you know, not that he's gonna give them weekly trouble if they play them every, but they're not going to be overly familiar with him. Do you know what I'm saying? And you see this black bison coming off the bench and just troubling everyone in the last 20. Like, I hear that still. Just unfortunately, it's not going to happen unless there's like a mad number 9 injury crisis. Do you know what I mean? But he deserves a shot. How old is he now? 28, 29?
Nah, man, he's got to be 30 by now. Let me look that up because I can't.
Depends what passport.
I'm sure he's in his 30s.
He's 30 now, yeah.
He's at the passport thing.
31 next month.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's always been a bit of a bogeyman for Spurs, especially when he plays. Sometimes he always gets a goal, man. And I guess let's touch on the actual game, like what we think is going to happen in the Spurs West Ham game. We both got ex-Man United rejects managers in Moyes and Mourinho. Ohio, how do you think Mourinho will approach the game?
We're away, right? Oh, fuck's sake. I think he's gonna tell Højbjerg to stick on Souček a lot. It'll be either him or Sissoko. He'll be like, one of you man has to man mark Souček because he's a big goal threat. I think the 3-3 and the Lazzini screamer is going to be etched in his mind because I think effectively that moment or that second half performance, that 8-minute performance even. Sorry, so I just said feed everyone lasagna. I think that 8 minutes shaped a lot of how we play or how we tend to play now. I think, that game, there's a caveat with the United game with them having 10 men and stuff. But even before United went down to 10, we were still trying to play out. I think that West Ham game got Jose a bit shook, to be honest. And that's how we've been doing that. The long ball, Kane playing the quarterback thing. So annoyingly, because West Ham are in good form, Mourinho is obviously a fan of Lingard as well. He's going to be worried of what Lingard's about. I do unfortunately think we are going to go back to being more defensive than we would hope for, especially with them playing well, being higher than us in the league, etc., etc. Selection-wise, I'm not sure. I don't think Aurier is not going to be available. Reguilon's not going to be available. So I'm expecting Tanganga to probably come back in. Because obviously you've got that threat on the left-hand side. Cresswell's going to have to get closed down quite a lot. Is Antonio back?
Yes.
Fuck's sake. Fantastic. Right. Brilliant. Okay, so if Sanchez plays, we're going to lose 3-1. That's the first thing. But yeah, I think we're going to be. I don't think we'll be 2 banks of 4 straight. Do you know what I'm saying? It's not going to be try and catch them on the counter. I think we are going to try and retain possession. Annoyingly, Ndombele had to come on today. Would have rather left him at home, but you got to be sure. So yeah, I think it will be more defensive than we would hope, just because we're away, they're playing well, etc. But I think he will want to try and retain the ball when we do have it. But our standard quick transition football is what I'm expecting.
Definitely agree with that. And Logan, I guess I should put it to you. How do you think Moyes should approach the game?
The big thing is, whether Kane was rested or if he's actually suffering an injury. Because I've seen a couple in the nose say that Kane was injured 2 days ago, and then he didn't travel. Be interesting to see if he plays. He's a very different prospect if he's not playing. I'm a lifelong West Ham fan, so it's very difficult for me to believe in any kind of consistency whatsoever. We might turn up and play 3 at the back with the 2 fill-in midfielders, and you can't break us down on the counter because we're just packing that bank of 5 with the 2 in front of us, and then we bang you on the counter with the speed up front that we have now. Or we just might be a complete shambles and we just get ripped apart by players that, if I'm holding my hands up, are far more ticklingly gifted than the ones that we've got in our team. I don't know what's going to happen. I would definitely set up firstly, to be organized at the back. All of our success has come from being organized at the back, but also we've looked our best when we're really actively pressuring teams as well. So we'll set up, and rather than setting up and just sitting back, which we have a tendency to do, and I think we did that against Liverpool and got punished really badly for it, and so I'd let them play. I want to see us set up and pressure and harass in the midfield. I want to defend from the front. And if we do that, I feel like we have the best chance because we have got players that will tire you and wear you down. We are really good on the break against teams once we frustrate them and absorb a lot of the pressure. And we've always got a set piece threat in us every game. So there's always a threat there of a set piece. So, it'll either be a tight, cagey game and it will be decided by, one goal either way, or I feel like we'll get outclassed and we'll kind of remember our place in the league. That's not fifth. That's not what that, West Ham are not the fifth best team in the Premier League. I'm not that delusional. So with your correction, it might happen, or we might overperform again as we have done. I just don't know what to predict. My hands are off the wheel. Whatever happens, happens. My heart hopes that we can slap you all over the place and we make a highlight reel out of Sanchez. But I've got no idea. I've got no idea, man.
So quick question for myself before we sort of like move on to, I think there's some listeners' questions as well. Where do you realistically think West Ham should be aiming for by the end of the season?
If we finish top 8, that's a huge improvement on last season because of our performance last season was terrible. And our personnel has not really changed drastically. We've brought in Lingard on loan and Soufal. Souček was with us last season.
Oh, no, you had Souček, yeah.
Dawson.
Benrahma.
Realistically, we've loaned 2 players and brought in a fullback. And then brought through younger players. So, for me, if we finish top 8,
nice one.
Great stuff from David Moyes. If we finish top 8, great stuff. If we get a Europa spot, I'll be over the moon. I'm not in any kind of delusion that we're going to get Champions League. I'll be happy with top 8. Top 8 is massively overperforming for us. Europa is basically like us winning a cup, pretty much. Other than that, that's kind of what I'm hoping for.
Tobes has sent in a question asking, "What's your view on Benrahma and specifically this season, and should he start against Spurs?"
Benrahma's an interesting one because I like Benrahma. I've got a lot of friends that don't rate him at all, and I can understand why because he's not. He's a championship player still, very talented. He's an international, but it's not the same. I think that Benrahma looked his best in the first game that Lingard played, and that really galvanized him. It gave him a lot more confidence. One of the things that Benrahma does a lot is he gives the ball away looking for passes. Because the movement off the ball has not been there for him, and he's playing exciting passes that someone should be running onto, but they're going into gaps and spaces and just losing the ball, or he's overhitting them. And I feel like adding Lingard to the side now is giving him that ability to play better, but that also means we need to balance because I don't think we can play Antonio, Lingard, Bowen, and Benrahma all in the same side if we're going to play 2 wing backs and 3 at the back. And I don't think we've got the personnel to play 4 at the back. So I like rotating alongside Fornals and Lanzini. I would always start Lingard. I'd always start Bowen. And I'm rotating whoever I feel like is in the best form in that last spot for me, in that kind of number 10 spot, because Lingard generally for us plays out on the left. I'd love to see Ben Rama continue to grow the same way that I want to see Bowen to grow. Ben Rama's like not the first name on the team sheet for me. He's not like, he's a player that I would love to see carry on improving, but he's not at that consistent level where I feel like I feel like, you know, he's guaranteed to start in the team, as even though he's one of our most exciting.
Yeah, it seems like maybe a rough diamond at the moment.
Still unfinished product. Yeah.
Got another question from Jess J093 on Twitter. He's asked, should West Ham get a Europa League spot? Do they, with maybe 3 good additions, have the depth and quality to build on this season while still competing in Europe? Yeah,
I mean, listen, I know I saw that other comment that was posted up as well in the chat there, and I'm not, you know, I know they were parring, but I'm not even under any illusions. One of the reasons why we're doing very well this season is because we haven't got a clogged fixture list outside of the Premier League. You know, imagine us with this squad having one fit first team striker trying to play on Thursday nights as well as cups and league. It's falling down, you know, and we rely so heavily on Rice and Soucek in the middle that we don't, you know, a cover for that is Noble. And as we said, he's just on a declining curve. We definitely need to bring in, I think we're in a good place with fullbacks. I would like to see us bring in more cover up. Like, we need strikers desperately. You know, if we want to compete in Europe, we probably need another 2 strikers, honestly, because we're going to have to rotate out with Antonio. He's 31 in a month. So next season, mid-season, he's going to be 32. His hamstrings are going to get tighter and tighter. He's going to be more and more injury prone. So we need a striker that's looking to take over for Antonio. But then I feel like also we need a backup as well, which we don't have, because Oladapo didn't have a great debut when he came on. He actually got subbed off. He came on and got subbed off again, which is always the biggest embarrassment, especially as a young player. So he's got a long way to go. And another centre-back. I think we need another good centre-back because the ones that I think we need to shift Balbuena on. He just hasn't delivered. And between Diop and Ogbonna, I don't think either of those are form-wise, because Diop 2 seasons ago, Man United were looking at buying for £50 million. And then last season, Ogbonna's been great. So, but then he, picked up an injury. So I'd like to see another centre back as well. I think at least 3 players that are good enough to start as well.
Sanchez is going cheap if you guys are on the market for one. So, I think most of the other questions I've got here, we've kind of touched sort of earlier in the podcast. Guys, did you have any other questions? Or
I just want Bale to just think back to that night at Upton Park when he got fouled, didn't get the foul, turned around and said, "Yeah, boss me," and just slapped him. Man, I need that, man. I need that so badly.
I hope we see it. I really hope we see it. And random question just to end the pod. We kind of have, we have 5-a-side tournaments sometimes across the different pods. So we get the Spurs pod, the Tottenham pod, the Arsenal pod, Chelsea pod. And I guess my question is, if you was going to pick Graham seeing 5-a-side to participate, who would be on your team?
I would pick Kamikaze, because he's a professional footballer. Cozzy, because he's a semi-pro footballer. I would pick Kano because he played as a kid at Chelsea, I think it was.
Oh, fairs, didn't I?
Nice. That's some trivia there.
I don't know what it is about him. He strikes me as someone that can kick ball.
Yeah, a Terminator because he was a professional footballer for years and played PPR. Who's my last ringer that is actually a grime artist? Footsie's Nang. Footsie played at a high level as a youth.
Who was that, Footsie or Cookie?
Footsie.
Oh, well, is that where you got the name from?
Jeez.
I'm trying to think who else is cold. I think J2K is cold as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. I can't remember though. I think J2K like played as a youth for a good club also. So yeah, I'm just cheating. I'm just trying to pick all the grime artists that I can remember that have ever played professional football at any kind of level. But yeah, all attack, all out. Yeah. Oh, Maximum in goal because he's a good keeper still.
Oh, I was going to say Jamie in goal because I swear he's from Tottenham as well, at least from North. So we need to get a Spurs rep in there.
Come on.
Well, Macklин's a West Ham fan, so it works out for me.
There you go, man. Logan, it's been great having you on the show.
It was wonderful to turn this into a West Ham podcast for at least 4 minutes.
I was thinking that halfway through, you know, I was like, I have not spoken about them West man for so long in my life, bro.
We basically just didn't talk about your glorious 4-1 win against Wolfsberger King United.
Yeah,
But yeah, Gareth Bale looked very good. I hope he gets more minutes. I hate Spurs, but I like watching good ballers, and Gareth Bale is a good baller, and I like seeing him play well, and I want to see more of that. As long as it's not this weekend at London. After that, it's fine.
Well, yeah, I hear that. I definitely want to see Bale do good, man. And he is a baller. Just in my opinion, hasn't shown enough of it since he's come back. But what can you do, man?
Can I ask a question?
Of course.
Do you think, realistically, if you finish outside of Champions League spots this season, do you think Harry Kane will be here next year?
If we don't win the Europa League, I don't think he will be here. I think if he does go, Levy will be like, Levy's going to move, as if you put Brock Lesnar as the first person in the Royal Rumble. He's like, I'm probably going to lose this, but, if you're going to get me out, you're going to have to move mad. Do you know what I mean? Like, he's anyone who comes in, Levy will be like, okay, come back with 150 M's. It wouldn't surprise me if we sold him for less than that, obviously COVID market and that, but if we finish outside top 4 and don't win even, like, everyone's like, oh, you can't look down at the Carabao. Yes, we need the trophy, but when we won it in 08, like, nothing really happened after that.
No.
Yeah, if we
it
don't,
doesn't give you access to anything else, really, winning the League Cup.
So if we don't get in the Champions League by hook or crook, then it cannot surprise anyone if he's like, I'm going to bounce, man. Like, fair enough, isn't it?
I think that's as fair as you can put it. It's not, for me, I think it's not necessarily that we have to win the Europa League, but like Ohio said, it's the Champions League qualification. So it is top 4 or Europa League, but it's definitely one of the two. I'm sure do you guys agree? Does anyone disagree?
No, it's pretty much the same. Like, I think, if we don't win the Europa League, finish outside the top 4, he's definitely going to want to leave. It's just a question of if anyone has to pee in a COVID market, because I feel like Man City are probably the only ones with the P. I was going to say PSG, but they've been moving a bit funny in the last year, 18 months, signing people like Danilo Pereira as a centre-back. And I really don't see Levy selling to another Premier League club. So it's a funny one. I always saw him maybe going to Real Madrid in the future to kind of take on Benzema or take over from Benzema once he fades out teams. He's like 34 now, right? So yeah, and I don't even think they've got the money. So yeah, I think he'll want to leave, but ultimately I don't think anyone's going to have the P for it, and we're going to offer him a bumper new contract, and we'll see what happens from there.
I think that's what's going to keep him there, just the inflated price tag of selling him to a Premier League rival. Because I think Man United should have bought him for £200 million like 2 years ago, honestly. Just gone all in and spent it because they got the money. They're already 700 mil in the hole, aren't they? So they don't care. Different type of debt, though, because they owe the debt to the owners or something. It's weird. It's not like Barca and Real debt. But, yeah, I think the optics of selling him for only 100 M's and it going to a Premier League club, Levy probably wouldn't do that, I don't think. And as you said, the kind of obvious clubs that he'd go to around the world, the Spanish league is a mess in terms of their finances. They're not really spending that on anybody at the moment. And then you've got like Juve and PSG, and they don't. Do they need him?
PSG don't have a 9. To be fair, do they have a 9?
Icardi.
It would. Don't be shocked if Poch comes knocking, man. Don't be shocked. If Neymar and Mbappe, Kane. Okay,
that's tricky.
Interesting.
So, all right, guys, let's end the pod on predictions.
Oh, we had one question down there. Sorry, my boy Elliot. It was for Logan. He said, "How many seasons do you reckon West Ham have got left with Rice? Because you can't hold him back forever, to be honest."
It is entirely dependent on the growth of the team and the club. To be honest with you, because it's the same with Kane. Kane would have played with you forever if you'd have carried on growing with his form. And if we managed to hold Rice through, Frank actually having access to the transfer market again at Chelsea, we managed to hold him off there. So if we can continue to invest, because you can see Rice is having fun playing football. He's going to reach a point where he's going to want to play at the best level in the world and play in a Champions League and understand that he can get there. I don't know if West Ham will ever get to a point where they can play Champions League football. Don't know if that will happen. It could do. There's a lot of money floating about. We just need to get bought out by someone ridiculous. But I think he'll be there for at least another 2-3 years. I don't think if we carry on growing and investing in the squad, then 2-3 years. If the wheels fall off next season, then he might go in 2 years.
Nice. I think
me again. I just had one more. Like we asked Lawless this when he was on. I think I'm just going to ask this to any West Ham when it happens. How did you feel when you signed Tevez and Mascherano?
I had no idea what the hell was going on.
We still don't.
No idea what the hell was going on. And then Pardew couldn't even play Mascherano because you had to pay. We had to pay it. The deal was effed. Effed.
Fraud.
The deal was ridiculous. Pardew literally couldn't pick Mascherano because if he played over 16 games, the money that we had to pay Jobakian was mental. So he'd stopped picking him. But yeah, I mean, what a pleasure it was to get to see Carlos Tevez running around in a West Ham shirt for a year. It was surreal.
Saved you the last day at Old Trafford. Nuts. I remember that game. I was like, West Ham are dusted. I thought it was over. And Tevez was like, I'm just going to put this on my back. Like,
mad. Crazy.
He went off.
And he just worked himself into the ground as well, which always gets you over with the West Ham fan base. But he just had incredible quality as well. So it was weird. It made no sense because I'm used to watching, just John Hartson and man. Al Berkovic was like the pinnacle of that, and Di Canio. That was it in terms of skill plays. But
Canio was cold though.
But yeah, I mean, Di Canio and Carlos Tevez are levels apart. Really, like what Di Canio can do with a football was up there, honestly. But Tevez as a football player in 90 minutes, we've never had anyone like that at the club. Even like Payet, I love Payet. I put Dimitri Payet on Di Canio levels in terms of what he did when he was here, even though it was a lot shorter. But yeah, Tevez was just different gravy, and what he went on to do afterwards proved it.
Well,
the only way that West Ham get players of that caliber at our club is through highly fraudulent dealings. So I'm not expecting it to happen again anytime soon.
Well, let's see if Lingard can follow in those footsteps.
We haven't even got an option to buy. If he plays too good, he's just going to go straight back. Bad.
Oh my gosh. You can take the player out of Manchester, but you can't take the Manchester player out of the penalty decisions. No matter what stage he's playing.
That's our first pen. And of course, the first pen of the season was won by the Man U player. Of course. So yeah,
It's Premier League gospel, man. That's all it is.
yeah.
So just I want to give my prediction before we leave. I definitely think I feel like West Ham are going to be susceptible to that Ndombele final ball. That's to be honest. I feel like that's going to be but I'll give you your props. I feel like if you go down, you'll come back. It's not going to be a heads down thing. Do you get what I mean? I feel like it will be, for me, a score draw or Spurs win.
That's fair. I was going to give just mine as well quickly, because there's a player's performance today which I put higher stock in than Bale's. Like, I thought Dele came in really well and interchanged with Lucas and particularly Song quite well, and he tends to do really, really well against West Ham. And like you said, there are those off the ball runs can play right into Ndombele's kind of driven through balls. So I'd have him playing. Hopefully Kane and Reguilon get their Senzu beans. They can hopefully play. I don't think Reguilon's going to play, and hopefully Sanchez doesn't play. With that all said, I wouldn't even be surprised if Rodon started purely because of the height. Like, he's 6'4", and he has fairly decent minerals. So, that all said, I think we'll run out 3-1. I'm quite optimistic with for this one. Definitely no clean sheet though.
I'm thinking 2-1. I don't think it will be a thrilling game. I think somehow we'll both sort of contain each other. And it's gonna be a game that's gonna come down to individual mistakes, which is why I'm worried that we could potentially lose because of that West Ham press, that West Ham pressure with a Spurs side that we've seen too many times fold under pressure is worrying for me. But being optimistic, I'm thinking 2-1 Spurs. I think the creativity will come from our midfield, and we'll have the likes of Harry Kane to be the clinician to finish that shit for us. So, yeah, we'll see.
I think we'll score. I don't know if we'll win or lose, but what I do know is that in the last 7 minutes, someone's going to do something dumb, give away a free kick within 30, 40 yards of the box, Creflo's going to whip it in, and someone's going to score in the melee. Like, that's the only thing I can guarantee.
100%. Yeah. Furthermore, it's going to be Antonio. Let's not lie to ourselves.
Yeah, it will be Antonio.
We've enjoyed too much pain from Nancy this season, though, as well. Like, not only did he score that goal, he gave a couple of our members of our squad COVID as well, just on a cheeky one over Christmas.
Fuck you, vibe.
So we can't let him get away with this.
I don't think he'll even start. So, yeah.
I don't think he started the last game either, but there you go.
All right, any prediction, Logan?
I'll go 2-1 West Ham. A hopeful 2-1 West Ham.
Scary that's not a reasonable shout, to be honest.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Nice one. So, if Spurs win, Spurs fans, where can Spurs fans send you some abuse, Logan?
Their mum's house.
Easy.
If Spurs win, you can send me some abuse.
Finn Balor.
He's still only 7th in the league, isn't it? So yeah. DJ Logan Salmer on Twitter. Hit me up. It's all good. As long as you're polite, I don't mind. Don't be an arsehole about it. Because I know deep down that West Ham are rubbish. So this is all smoke and mirrors. Feel free to palm me off as soon as that first goal goes in, and in the 3rd minute or whatever it is.
You've been a good sport.
I don't hide as well. You know what I mean? Like, if I'm watching the game, I'm on. If I'm watching the game and I'm tweeting, I'm on there the whole time. Like, I'm not like oh, we've just scored, I'm back on Twitter now. Like, I'm there. I'm there saying exactly why we're rubbish. So
it's more smoke than mirrors, then, huh?
Yeah.
Respect it.
The way my network works, you get me. Sometimes they score against Spurs, and you get me. T-Mobile goes down, and that, you get me. There's nothing I can really do about that. So you get me. If I'm hiding, you get me. Yeah, I'm hiding. But yeah, guys, it's been a great show. Lovely to have you there, Logan.
Yeah, thanks for getting me involved in the fun, man. It's been good.
Good to have you.
Great guest.
Follow us on Touchline_Spurs, and until next week, catch you guys. Take care.
Blessings.
Take care. Bow.